sitting in this seat in our pre-show prep longer than I was during the final segment of SmackDown on Friday night, which literally, once I heard the first sound of a certain theme song, I turned the damn TV off, walked away, and went, those sons of bitches. Welcome to Wrestling with Egos. Take a wild freaking guess what we're going to talk about tonight, because just like everybody else in the wrestling world, people on this show were pissed off. I don't know.
Yeah, 50% of this show has to be done.
Hey, I said people on this show are pissed off. Doesn't mean all the people on the show are pissed off. If there was a third guy here, 2 out of 3 would probably be pissed off.
Yeah, the person pissed off.
Yes, so half of tonight's show pissed.
There you go.
Welcome to Wrestling with Egos. I am the angriest guy in the room, Patrick. I am joined, as I am each and every week, by the Seth Rollins of this show, the true workhorse of this show, and also the funniest guy in the room, Cody Hinkin. Katie, what is good? How's the week been in merry old England? Hope the weather's better than it is here in fucking Ohio.
Yeah, it's all right, but it's been good. I mean, I am, as always, and what's the word? I don't like to admit it, but I'm always arguing against it, but I'm an optimist and I can't help it. And I don't feel all that negative about what went down yesterday, especially the fact that it started so early. When you heard that music go, I was like, yeah, a good promo. I like when a promo is good in WWE, it's really good. So I am happy for that.
The setup was good, and if you're a wrestling fan and you don't know what we're talking about, then I strongly suggest you crawl out from under the rock that you've been hiding on. No pun intended. Because
this will be out in a couple of days. Like, we're recording this on Saturday. This will be out by like Sunday or Monday. I'll get it straight out. So
right, yeah, it is Saturday, February 3rd, 2024, right now. So, depending on KD's time schedule when he can get the show up. Hey, and I'm not faulting you on that one. Trust me, I used to do all the uploading on this on this shit all the time, and trust me, we were weeks behind under my ass.
I was just thinking, technically, it's funny because technically it's the 4th of February for me right now.
Oh yeah,
time travel.
Oh, yeah, time zones and all that shit. Hey, well, it would make sense because time travel and all that stuff, and you're in England, so Doctor Who and
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway,
Doctor Who's for the world now. Anyway.
Yeah. So what we're talking about tonight is we are talking about the what looks to be probable main event for WrestleMania: Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Cody came out to make his decision last night, and to put a bow on it and give you the Cliff Notes version, Roman, that is the title that I'm coming for. You are the person I am coming for, just not at WrestleMania. Because I talked to a lot of people this week, one of them which you know very, very, very well. Cue Dwayne Johnson's music.
Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, rock the Dwayne Johnson. We're using that. We can put that on a t-shirt. Rock the Dwayne Johnson. So the Dwayne came out to a thunderous ovation.
Yeah, people were happy to see him, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of people are. I mean,
yeah.
Under other circumstances, I might be. But
yeah.
So here's, I just want to point out that, normally when they do shit like this in WWE, they do it in big markets. They're going to do a show like this in a Chicago or an LA or a St. Louis, a city that has a lot of deep wrestling history. Last night's SmackDown was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham.
Yes, in an arena that I have seen way too much wrestling. Ironically enough,
I mean,
the very first Monday Night Raw that I went to in that building, The Rock beat Mankind for the title in a ladder match.
Ah, okay.
It was the night after the Valentine's Day Massacre pay-per-view where Paul White debuted in WWE.
Oh, wow, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the night
Classic.
because that pay-per-view was in Memphis, and then the next night it was it was Raw in Birmingham, and The Rock beat Mankind in a ladder match with the help from the Big Show, choke slamming Mick Foley off the ladder, and there was your finish. I don't remember anything else from that show, but I do remember that. But
as a little tangent, have you seen the clip of Jerry Show on the cruise?
No, I have not.
Have a look at that after. You should check that out afterwards.
Now, what is it again?
Jerry Show on the Chris Jericho cruise. The cruise is going on now, or it's recently gone on.
Yeah,
and they do a Jerry Show reunion. Comes out in his pants again.
There was a Jerry Show reunion.
Yeah. They got like a kind of mixed theme tune as well for the tune, like the old Big Show and the old Break the Walls Down intro.
Oh,
it's really good. Look cool.
Oh, because I got to be honest, the mashup of their themes in WWE, that was kind of sick too. So
they've got the proper attires, you know. But on about like that the arena thing. Like, first of all, let's just point out that's the second best Birmingham in the world. First best Birmingham in Lind, right here, your boy.
Hey, I'm not going to deny that, because let's be honest, both cities are known in the sports world. They're known for football. One of them is real football, and the other one is American football played at the collegiate level.
There you go. Yeah, and I totally know what collegiate means. But I don't think that stuff at the moment matters as much anymore. I know they like to do that back in the day when they could. But now, as you know, it's all about it being on television now. It's all about the actual show going out. It's all about TV, isn't it, rather than the in-person in the show.
Right. And not just that, but it's also about like your social media engagement and likes.
Probably more that.
And likes and clicks, and in this particular case, not just likes, but dislikes.
Yeah, it's all engagement.
Yes, it's still engagement, yes. So first off, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to us on any of our podcast affiliates, subscribe, click the 5-star review, all that good stuff. But please follow, yes. Please don't hit the dislike button like seemingly everyone has done on the YouTube video on WWE's page with the encounter between Rock the Dwayne Johnson and Roman Reigns, which has already gotten over 250,000 dislikes in 24 hours.
Oh, wow. They don't normally make that public because you don't see it anymore. That's great. In that case, leaning into it in that case.
Yeah. So my quick rundown on it, because I love my best friend to death, but I'm very glad that he could not make the show tonight, because this would be a half-hour long tirade of his. And trust me, I know a thing or two. I know a thing or two about tirades. I'm kind of the master of them on this show. I had the championship belt to prove it.
You do talking promos.
Yes.
I love it. Perfect for podcasting.
But I'm not a fan of it, because you're pushing one of the best told stories that you've had in the last 10 years. You're pushing that to the back burner for a buzzworthy match. And it's apropos that we are talking about hype on this, because that's the real topic of tonight's show. Wrestlers that were all about hype, and whether they did or did not pan out. And this match is all about hype. Mm-hmm. It is the idea of a long since retired pro wrestler, now action star, now one of the most famous people in the entire world, against a part-time wrestler who is still the best character in wrestling today, and that's across any promotion. Sorry, AEW fans, but Roman is still a better character. AEW doesn't know anything about developing characters. Rant mode off. But my biggest beef is, okay, we're going to give Cody the win at last year's Rumble, and he's not going to win. And then it's all about finish the story, finish the story, finish the story, finish the story. He wins the Rumble again. He's pointing directly to Roman when he wins the fucking Rumble. You're like, shit, this is kind of a no-brainer. He's gunning for him.
Well, apparently on Saturday, the plan was, just of what's been said, however true it is, Saturday after the Rumble and after he was still facing Roman. Monday, the Raw and after he was still facing Roman. And then by the time Friday came about, apparently it was Thursday, Rock had managed to get it changed to Mania, because apparently they were originally talking about doing it at Chamber, and the Rock was like, we shouldn't have it at Mania. However true that is, we don't know. We always hear these things.
It wouldn't surprise me because, we've discussed on this show plenty of times that where Rock has used his station to be able to advance his own desires. And now that he's on the TKO board of directors, he kind of, he's on the TKO board of directors. So we have essentially swapped one egomaniac out for another one.
Let's look at this let's look at one thing as well with this. We can't deny the fact, though. I got another good point to make too. But WrestleMania is all about the show. It's like the what would you say? The
spectacle.
It's all about the spectacle. It's all about the casual viewers and all that, isn't it? Getting everyone in.
It's the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl, KD. I mean, you guys over in England, I know you guys don't give fuck all about the NFL, but I guarantee you there's at least 1 million people in the UK that will watch the Super Bowl. Why? Because it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know a few,
So, real quick, tangent. So, in America, yes, the Super Bowl is a big deal because it's the Super Bowl, and 2, it's football, American football. But another reason that we get behind the Super Bowl so much is because of the commercials that air during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Is this as big are Super Bowl commercials a big deal in the UK, or is that just a stupid American thing?
It wouldn't be a big thing for the Super Bowl per se, because it's on at 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. or whatever, so everyone's asleep over here.
Yeah.
So they're not going to pay, the reason you get those big adverts, isn't it, is because everyone's watching it. So the biggest people want to pay as much as they can to get the best thing, advertised to the most people. So you get the films, advertising, because they got all the money in it, so they normally do a lot of it. The big companies, no one's going to pay that for here.
Okay. I was just
we do it on other things. We do it on other things, obviously. I don't know now, the Olympics used to do a lot of it, the opening, closing ceremonies, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we do have it, yeah.
So so obviously I know you're not a big sports guy, but obviously you do understand pop culture, and you got you know a lot of people.
I am with it.
Yes, you're very with it. So what is, from a sports perspective, the biggest thing in the UK? For us, in America, it's a Super Bowl next weekend. What is the big deal in the UK? Educate me.
Well, I mean, I suppose every year you'd say the Premier League, just in general with the football, and then you got what is it? There's also the Champions League and
the Champions League,
FA Cup, is it, or something?
Yeah.
All those football things, they're the ones every year. And then you've also got at the moment you got the Six Nations, the rugby, which is American football but for men.
For those of you that don't know rugby, He's not lying.
No, no,
First
man,
off,
they're brutal.
first off, rugby is awesome. And anytime you have an opportunity to watch any country versus New Zealand, you watch it just because of the beginning of the match.
Yeah.
Because the fucking
Well,
haka is sweet.
Yeah, man.
But
Seeing them
I
like
didn't know.
doing that, yeah.
But I didn't know if there was like one like end all be all event.
We're very varied here. Like Wimbledon's also very popular for other crowds. Some boxing stuff that's very popular. The UFC is still very popular over here. That's like where I lean into like my sports normally, UFC and wrestling.
Gotcha. All right. Well.
Or TKO now. That's what I'm just complete. I'm TKO's bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
It is.
I haven't watched the UFC fight in years. Anyway, moving along. I understand the hype behind it, but I feel like as a wrestling fan, I've had the rug pulled out from under me twice on the same storyline because it's Cody's here to finish the story, and he cuts that amazing promo as to why he wants to finish the story when he first came back to WWE. And then Roman wins last year, and okay, now what? We're going to build Cody back up. Cody wins again. Okay, he's pointing at Roman. We're doing this. And then they pull the rug out. It feels like we are Charlie Brown trying to kick the football, and Lucy's bitch ass keeps pulling the ball away from us.
I tell you what, it's like a film that had like a really crap twist ending just for the sake of it, and everyone was like, "Oh, that film was great," but the ending was poo. So they, like 10 years later, did a reboot of it because everyone loves reboots, and they did the reboot, and then they were like, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, they're going to change the ending," and they got to the end of the film, and they're like, "Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do." They did the exact same thing as before, or something different, worse. It's like, oh man, come on! Like they shit the bed earlier instead.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great analogy.
I have some optimistic, like I said, I have some optimistic opinions there that I'll put to you in a moment.
Well, well, go ahead on that because I can continue ranting on this. I have a hope, as a very selfish hope, as to what they do with it now, and I'll save that for the close, and then we'll move on to the fun topic. So, what's your optimism and your take on all this?
Well, I mean, my take obviously is it would have made a lot more sense. The easier story would have been Cody and Roman and all that, and the way they've gone about getting to it, like all the storyline, everything on SmackDown was done the worst way it could have been done, really.
Yeah.
For how how little it made sense for everything Cody was saying to then change it. It's like he learned the script for the original promo and didn't want to learn another one. He just, added a line at the end. Oh yeah, but I'm not challenging you now, though. And apparently he's got no belief that The Rock is going to win the title either in this storyline because he's like, I'll take the title from you some other time. So he has no belief that The Rock's going to take the title.
Well, anybody with a brain can see that he's not because they're
not. But
right.
Seth shouldn't think that.
I mean, we all know.
Sorry, Cody.
We all know that Roman being that Rock facing Roman serves one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to further elevate Roman Reigns.
And to get a lot of the casual people in, because The Rock is like one of the biggest actors in the world. It can't be denied. I completely kind of get it. I understand it. And the weird thing is, though, look at it rather than that. Look at it from the other side, from the world title side. Weird, because the strange part is, from what I've heard, which is why I'm skeptical about what I've heard about when the decision was made, is because when they were talking on Monday, Cody and Seth, everything Seth was saying was all true.
Yeah.
I was listening to it and I was thinking then, I was like, you know what? As good as the story, finishing the story is, as far as Roman Reigns goes, it's kind of a harder story to tell, but arguably maybe a better story to tell, that his story has changed because of what Seth's done with that title. And now the end point is a different title. It's a different crown.
Right.
It's kind of there's a different story there. It could be, could be done really well. Literally the first hurdle they came to, they shit the bed. But, they got the pop, so everyone will forgive them for that.
Right.
But everything on Friday was not done well.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think that they can make that pivot and get away with it, because the whole point is, and Cody said it on SmackDown brilliantly, that is the title that Bruno held. That is the title that so and so held. That is the title that was handed to my father, only to be taken away from him.
That's like saying the descendant of Genghis Khan is Genghis Khan. Like, however many generations later, like 200 generations later, they are still Genghis Khan, which they're not. Their DNA is like hardly any.
No.
There's still a little bit of Genghis Khan. I give you that. There's still a little bit of WWE title, but they're not full. There's so many other titles put into it.
It doesn't matter necessarily in terms of Katie. It doesn't matter necessarily what the title has become. He's talking about the lineage of the title, much like in boxing. Your countryman Tyson Fury, he has the lineal World Heavyweight Championship, which is the same World Boxing Heavyweight Championship that can be traced back to Muhammad Ali, can be traced back all the way to Jack Johnson in the early 1900s.
Yeah. I know what it means. Obviously,
Yeah.
I just find it funny.
Yeah, I mean, so Cody's pursuit of that is literally much like someone that would rather go after Fury's world title as opposed to, say, some belt that, I know he doesn't have a championship right now, but Anthony Joshua might have, or the title that Anthony Joshua did have.
I don't know. I don't know when you come to the boxing titles. Would you argue that this world title, though, is like he was saying, the same title that Dusty had? Like, I'm guessing he's talking about the original, like, big gold WCW title and then NWA.
No, he's talking about the WWF title.
Oh, is that what he was talking about?
That's what he's talking about, because the WWF title that Bruno had was the same one that Superstar Billy Graham had, and that's who Dusty beat via countout.
Oh, when he actually had a world title, because I saw that celebration.
Right. And the WWF title is the one that Dusty was holding up in that famous picture. That became the WWF title, which is the one that Hogan beat the Hit for. And you can trace that lineage back. Yeah.
To the WWE title as well, then.
Yeah, that is the title.
It's not at all. Yeah.
No, this has nothing to do with the NWA title or the big gold belt or anything.
Oh, God,
this is strictly WWF lineage.
Yeah, so straight up makes no sense. Everything I was saying was wrong then in that case. Fair enough.
Yeah. So So for me, I kind of feel like there was the rug was pulled out from under you. But here's what I'm hoping for. Okay, if they're not gonna pivot away from this, and we're gonna get Rock versus Roman.
Set in now.
First off, you got to think that TKO might be smarter than that, and pay attention to and read the room. But if they're not, here's what I'm hoping for. Obviously, Roman will beat Rock the Dwayne Johnson. We're totally using that. That is going to become a part of this show. Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
It has to be. I've used it for a bit now.
Yeah, he's gonna beat the Dwayne, and he's gonna carry the title. And I hope if the rumors are true in terms of location, I hope he carries the title all the way to SummerSlam when he faces and loses to Cody. Because the rumor is that SummerSlam is going to be in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, I see.
And
they already announced this.
And my ass will be there.
Have they not already announced this at SummerSlam?
No, they have not announced it.
Oh, okay. I thought they would have announced it by now. It surprises me.
They generally don't announce, because SummerSlam's now become a big stadium show too. They generally don't announce SummerSlam until after Mania now.
Makes sense, actually. Yeah.
They will announce SummerSlam before April is in the books, because Mania is April 7th, 6th and 7th, I believe.
Something like
Or
that. Sounds about
it's either
right.
the 6th and 7th or 7th and 8th. I can't get my dates right. All I know is the
Yeah.
very next day I'm on vacation from work,
There you go.
because there is a total lunar eclipse that will be over Cleveland on that Monday, the Monday after WrestleMania. And it's also opening day for baseball in Cleveland. The Guardians' first home game is that day. Major League Baseball has not announced a start time for that game because they haven't figured out what the fuck to do about the eclipse. Because it's
And
going to.
just a quick little cheap plug for a KD comedy podcast we're going over, because on the Squishy Logic podcast upcoming, we've got an episode about Dr. Satan, but we've also got one about the moon coming up. The moon's weird. Think about that with an eclipse, just to throw a little fact at you, a little nugget of information. Think about an eclipse. It's so strange that the moon is like really close to us, first of all, closer than any other moon and bigger than any other moon is in the galaxy, in anywhere. Got a perfect orbit, but it's the same size in the sky, exactly the same size as the sun. So we see them both at exactly the same size. The chances of that is crazy. Just so small. Ooh, more like that. It's probably is basically hollow too.
Yeah. So here's where the fun begins. We're collectively, let's just go ahead and wrap that up with rant mode off, and let's get into the fun stuff, because tonight we are talking about the hype machine. We are talking about wrestlers that when they come into the business, they are surrounded by heaps and heaps and heaps of hype. And our conversation tonight is, who are these people and whether or not the hype panned out, or if they fizzled out or whatever. And I would like to start the conversation with one. And
do you want to say, before you go, do you want to say the person, and then I'll maybe see, I don't know, guess whether I think it's lived up to or didn't live up to, and then you can fill us in.
I think we say the person, we discuss, and then we close it with no, or they totally did. And
that's good.
So tonight, this is reason number 2 that I'm glad Brian's not on the show, because Brian would be adamant that we have to say this fucker's name the correct way. Fandango.
Oh, Fandango.
Yeah, because trust me, I was on the phone with Brian last night, and I kept saying, Brian, don't stop, no, and he just kept, I'm like, I will fucking hang up on you. Like, I will hang up on your ass. I'm like,
Fandango.
Oh God, I freaking hated that. For me, the hype, resounding hell no, it did not pan out. Because you have all these weird vignettes leading into it. You can already tell, okay, this guy's a dancer, weird, and then he beats Jericho in his very first match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was a crazy beginning.
Yeah,
can't argue with the hype at the beginning.
He has a theme song that is on the charts in England.
That happened a while later, to be fair.
The guy's theme music was more over than he was. The guy's dance partner, Summer Rae, was more over than he was.
Yeah, arguably.
So
he got good after a certain point, let's be fair, with the fashion foils and all that. But I know what you're saying. It's different kind of hype. Completely different kind of hype.
Right. Breezango was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Breezango was unbelievably hilarious, and I loved that. But him by himself, like, this is god awful.
Yeah, it was. It was like back in the 90s, weren't it? When everybody used to have, all the wrestlers used to have a day job as well. And here's his ballroom dancer, apparently. So was Summer Rae too, but you know.
Yeah, Duke the Dumpster Drosy, you know.
Yeah, Kane used to be a dentist, but you know, he got over that.
Kane was a dentist. Yeah, I mean,
And the
Bob,
Christmas tree.
but Bob Holly was a race car driver.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Road Dog was a
Anyway,
roadie.
say what?
Road Dog was a roadie.
Yes, he was. Yes, he
Mm-hmm.
was.
Craziness. I would say that with Fandango, for me personally, level of with the hype to how it went ratio, I don't think it's too bad. I don't think it went too far, but it didn't hype it up too much. It's a good starter one. So I don't know.
You know what? Letter grades A, B, C, D, F. I would give this one, honestly, because there was the hype wasn't like crazy, but it was there, and then they started with him beating Jericho, and then it kind of just fell off from there.
That's true, actually.
C minus.
Sounds fair. I'd agree with that.
I would give this one a C minus. Trust me, I have an F on my list.
I probably do too.
This one my F might be a little too old for KD, but we're still we're still gonna run it out there. Who's somebody on your list?
I'll go for a classic one straight away that I don't think it's going to be any argument about whether they lived up to the hype or not. And it may sound like I'm setting up a joke, but I'm actually not being genuine. That's gotta be Kane. When he was coming into WWE, he was hyped up, you know, as Undertaker's brother. And everyone, you didn't know. It could have easily been terrible, couldn't it? Like him coming in his red costume and stuff.
It could have been an absolute joke, and it could have been so unintentionally comical that you could have had an entire stand-up routine on this shit.
Yeah. And if I'm know correctly, like they did this a lot, didn't they? Like all through Undertaker's career, they brought in big people for him to beat, and then they disappeared into nothingness. So they didn't even know.
Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Point proven.
No, Kane, A+.
Yeah, has to be.
Because the hype behind him led to one of the most consistent careers in WWE history.
Yeah, straight up.
I mean, it's a lot like, and none of these women are on my list, but, you know, I was actually having a conversation with a friend earlier this week, and we were talking about the 4 horsewomen. You know, especially now that Bayley's won the Royal Rumble, and it's going to be Bayley and Io Sky, which that's going to be freaking sweet.
What a SmackDown that was, though, man! Everything got decided, didn't it?
I know, right? It was great, and the fact that the crowd reaction when Bayley started dropping Japanese.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was good.
But we were talking about the horsewomen, and Sasha had all the potential. Charlotte was the freak athlete that could do anything and everything. Becky was the charismatic one.
Yeah.
And Bayley, who was the one that was left behind in NXT when the other 3 got called up, Bayley became the workhorse. She became the most consistent out of all of them. Kane's the same way. Bayley might go down in history as one of the most consistent performers in WWE women's history. Kane is one of the most consistent performers in WWE history. This is an A+ if there ever was one.
Yeah, too fair. Yeah, I'd say maybe personally an A. Just got to take some points away because while Kane was great, Glenn Jacobs apparently has some questionable politics. I don't know myself. I'm not American, so I would just agree and disagree and say maybe.
It depends on what side of the fence you're on.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep my cheeks permanently in the middle of said fence. I am sitting on the wood, balancing my legs spread out like a star.
That is a great stance to take. I have my own
I'm
political.
not standing. I have a wooden thong right now.
Yes, this is true. And you know what?
Okay.
I will also have said wooden thong because while I do have my own political opinions and beliefs and everything else, mhm,
Yeah, it's all the time. So A for
not,
me.
nor the time, ne'er the time nor place for any of that shit on this show. By the way,
But that
I may have my beliefs, but my general life, I like to keep it a politics free zone.
I like talking politics personally, but not in wrestling. Wrestling and politics don't mix.
Well,
You're Linda McMahon's finding that out right now. Woohoo!
dude, my opinion, I would much rather talk about politics in England than I would America because it is so divisive in this country. It's disgusting. I think you know what
Trump,
I would
Trump,
I
Trump, Trump.
I would rather have a tribalist discussion with WWE and AEW fans than I would have a discussion about politics in the United States of America.
Yeah, fair. I'd like to watch
Anyway,
it though.
so here's my next one, and it could go either way depending on how you feel about it.
I like that one. Okay.
Because there wasn't much necessarily hype leading in to his debut, but shortly after his debut, the hype train went ballistic.
Okay.
Goldberg.
Oh. Ooh.
Now, I asked you.
WWE, I'm guessing you mean.
Now, I'm talking WCW.
Oh.
Now, I'm asking you to look at the entire body of work from WCW and not just dwell on the negatives, which are very easy to do with Goldberg because Goldberg ended and destroyed the career of Bret Hart.
You know, it happened. It's wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was an accident, but I mean, you know, and also I think Bret Hart's the most bitter son of a bitch in the entire world.
Exactly.
More bitter than ex-wife number 2, and that's saying a lot.
That's craziness.
I mean, damn. But I think my personal opinion on Goldberg is, and this is coming from a fan that lived in WCW country and watched a lot of WCW. Goldberg was a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Even though he was not necessarily good in the ring, and I won't even say great, he was barely good in the ring at best. The hype and the mystique of Goldberg made it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was pushed on that hype.
Yeah. I was just a WWE fan at this point, like during all of that. And I was younger, obviously. So and there was no internet then. So I didn't really have any real way of watching WCW either. I can't remember. But I never watched it though. But yet I didn't have many wrestling fans either. Many wrestling fans that were friends then either. There wasn't that many people that watched wrestling then. But even I still knew about Goldberg. I knew about the streak, and I love Goldberg. Goldberg's awesome. Like me personally, you say was the hype worth it? I'm like, of course it was. That lived up perfect in WCW. Like WWE, arguable maybe, but WCW, pow pow.
And this is why I'll say it worked. Just say what you will about Goldberg now, and yeah, Goldberg turned out Goldberg showed just how poorly inept he was in the ring as his career continued. Yeah. But I will put it to you this. I will put it to you this way. Bill Goldberg, I can't remember what year it was, but it was a 4th of July episode of Monday Nitro in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Georgia Dome, when he beat Hogan for the title. They packed 60,000 people into a fucking football stadium for a wrestling show on a Monday night.
Wow, yeah. Craziness.
Yeah, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's not Kane level, it worked. I'll give it a B+.
That's making me want to like decrease the Kane one personally. Like, I'm gonna have to put Kane to A-, and I'm gonna put Goldberg on in WCW alone. No, actually, you know what? It doesn't matter because in WCW alone, I'm gonna put Goldberg as like A+.
Okay.
Because for me, it's like it just all the hype. Obviously, this is for somebody who didn't watch WCW too much though as well. So.
Right. I guess for me, I take it down to a B+ because I know that after a while, as does with everything, after a while everything gets old. But the speed at which Goldberg got, that whole deal got really old. It happened real fast.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, that's why it goes down a couple of notches.
Yeah. You mean streak in that as well?
Yeah. Who else you got?
Okay. See. Okay. This could be a controversial one right here, but I'll get going with a controversial one. So, in AEW, I'll preference that, however you say it. He definitely won't be able to say it though. It's Kota Ibushi. And I'm talking about AEW Kota because I don't know anything about it. I never watched Japanese wrestling. Well, I've watched little bits, but I don't watch much. Never seen a Kota match before. I'm pretty sure I got the right name there. Don't get me wrong. Guy who, I was promised the most when he came to AEW. I was told by other people, and I was told that he would expect the best wrestler, best bout machine, even as Kenny. But I was one of his partners. He's awesome. The golden lover and all that. And what I got was a guy that couldn't move, bumps in tacks, and rode a bike. I don't get it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure he was great at one point, but in AEW, guys made of wood.
Okay. Pre AEW, Kota Ibushi was phenomenal. Some of his matches in New Japan in New Japan are masterpieces. He was a phenomenal in-ring performer. I will counterpoint your hype behind Kota Ibushi by saying it's AEW. AEW can't cash in on any hype because they don't use hardly anyone properly.
Well, yeah.
2 words, and the 2 words, the one person's name that I'm about to say, because I say it every time we talk about how AEW doesn't know how to manage their own talent. Keith Lee.
Yeah. Didn't have him on the thing, luckily, but I would argue that the few in AEW still know to do. So
when you talk about Kota Ibushi and oh my God, we're bringing in Kota Ibushi into AEW. F.
Yeah.
I'm also worried about what's going to happen with Will Ospreay. Because Will Ospreay is on his way to AEW.
I don't know, sorry, just I've either put it in with it. That's another one of my picks too, and I'm enjoying that. I didn't see any of his stuff. As soon as I saw it in the ones, I'm like, okay, this guy's got something, and then him popping up and teasing it. I'm like, right now, yeah.
Will Ospreay is one of my favorite people to watch in the ring. Dude, you will do yourself a favor and YouTube Will Ospreay versus Ricochet.
I've watched a little bit of that. I've seen bits. Actually, not like that was everywhere.
My God, I am very much looking forward to seeing Will Ospreay in AEW, but I'm also very fearful of it because, again, AEW has a very, very, very large history in their very short existence of collecting talent and not doing jack fucking shit with them. Yeah. I mean, hey, here's one for you that's not Keith Lee. Talking about one of their very own homegrown stars. Where the fuck's Britt Baker been for the last 6 goddamn months?
Yeah, God knows, man. Although she was getting a bit stale, I will say. And when she comes back now, it will be good.
Don't care if she got stale or not. I mean, she's still phenomenal in the ring. And trust me, seeing her ass in there would still be a shitload better than seeing some of them yahoos.
Yeah, some of them, yeah. I don't mind. She needed to get away for a bit. Although she could have been doing something, you know. I think they need, like, they could do some of the women in AEW are getting a lot better now, so they could bring in another, I don't know about another title.
No, AEW needs more titles like I need a hole in the head.
WWE need a mid-card women's title.
I agree.
That goes over both shows.
That I agree. That I agree that WWE does in fact need a mid-card women's title. That would be huge. So speaking of AEW talent and hype, I got one for you. Because not only is it hype from AEW, but now it's hype from WWE. Jade Cargill.
I thought you were going to say like CM Punk or something then.
Jade Cargill.
Yeah, man, my girl. I've been singing her praises since AEW, and there's always been something about that woman.
So here's my take on Jade Cargill, and I made no bones about the fact that I thought her work in AEW, in ring and mic work, were 2 steps above piss poor.
That's fair.
Mainly because in the ring, you gave her nothing but tomato cans to work with.
And she was green as heck.
She was greener than, as to put a very southern term on it, she was greener than goose shit. But you also put her in the ring with women that could not accentuate her positives.
Didn't know how.
A lot of hype doesn't pan out. Literally, and I'm using that word correctly, not going literally, I died. No, figuratively, you died, you fucking dumbass. Learn how to use the fucking English language.
I would still argue.
Say what?
I would still argue as well that Jade in AEW didn't completely fail though in regards to the hype.
No.
It got where it got to just because of her specialness. You could still see it in there. Everyone could see it. You knew it was there still.
Jade Cargill in AEW should be an A+.
Yeah.
It's a C. Her potential could make it so much more. But you're looking at the fact that AEW literally just threw her out there and put her with tomato cans and people that could not accentuate anything about her. Look at the people that she rolled with. Stokely Hathaway didn't do her any favors. Mark Sterling didn't do her any favors. They put her side by side with Red Velvet and Layla Gray, for fuck's sake.
That was about the best time, like her baddies. That was the best. There should have been other people.
But they were all shit.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I mean, put her...
Two veterans.
You know what? A long time ago, WWE had this group called Evolution. And it had a very promising Randy Orton and a work in progress by the name of Dave Batista. But what did they do? They put Orton and Batista alongside Flair and Triple H. And look what happened.
Awesomeness.
Exactly. So in the 2 years of Jade Cargill in AEW, we got no more than a C.
Yeah.
In one fucking night.
Yeah.
WWE took the hype surrounding Jade Cargill, stuck a rocket up its ass, and lit the fuse. Because all she did was picked up Nia Jax on her own and dumped her.
Couple times.
They could have thrown her ass out of the ring a nanosecond afterwards, and it wouldn't have mattered.
She got out third, or was she down the final 3 or final 2?
She was final 3.
Yeah.
She was final 3.
But no, that was Jordan Grace that got KOD'd off the thing. I thought that was Jade.
But they could have not done that. I mean, literally, she could have thrown Nia Jax over, and then Bayley could have come in and dumped her right afterwards, and it wouldn't have mattered because they made Jade Cargill look like a star. In 90, KD, it took less than 90 fucking seconds.
You know what? That right there is a testament.
It took AEW 2 years to get a C. It took WWE 90 seconds to A+ that motherfucker.
And I would argue she started as a C. I don't think she really improved that much through AEW, you know. She had nothing given to her to improve. But then in WWE, that's it shows how good the NXT training stuff is over there. Just shows how good it is.
When your training facility is run by arguably the greatest in-ring performer that has ever lived, you can't really screw that up. By the way, speaking of NXT people, Tiffany Stratton last night on her SmackDown debut nailed it.
She's awesome, she is. I've liked her since...
I love me some Tiffy time.
Yeah, Tiffy time.
My mom was watching it and asked me, "Who is this?" I'm like, "This is that blonde chick that was the blonde Barbie chick that was in all pink at the Rumble. They called her up? Uh-huh. Oh, she's good." I'm like, uh-huh.
She is very good, man. And she missed the moonsault, but you know, that always happens with aerial people.
Yeah, but hey, and the sad thing is, of all the NXT call-ups, she ain't gonna be the biggest one. Because wherever they decide to put Braun Breaker, hold on to your asses, boys and girls.
Yeah. I actually going to Raw and so to have a check out their contract.
Sidebar. I never truly appreciated just how fast Braun Breaker was until the Rumble. Him hitting the ropes and then spearing the shit out of people. I'm like, God, don't break them.
Yeah. Same. 23 miles an hour, apparently.
Yeah. I'm like, Jesus Christ. That dude is like, that's freakish.
You see it. He's faster than Darby, and that says something like Darby, you know, he gets some speed when he's going to the race. But this guy, Jesus.
Okay, it's one thing. Okay, well, don't get me wrong. I love Darby Allin. I'm a fan of
what it's completely different. It was a bad analogy.
But Darby Allin hitting that suicide dive, even, you know, as small as he is, he hits it and it's violent. Now imagine Braun Breaker doing that. He killed somebody.
Yeah. He got a strong neck as well, man. It's like a battering ram.
Oh my God. But anyway, the point, at the end of the day, AEW, 2+ years, you started at a C, you got a C. You didn't get a C minus, you didn't get a C plus. You literally did not improve in 2+ years. And then WWE comes in and in 90 seconds goes, hey, KD, hold my beer.
Completely true. I got another one for you now then while you go through some of that lovely hops, whatever it is.
It's my black cherry cider that I like to drink.
It's hard though. You're an odd man. Hard cider for odd men. Tell you who else is a hard man.
I wouldn't know about. I wouldn't say that because I mean it's only 5% alcohol.
You know, some people are 5% alcohol. Some people think the earth is flat. Which brings me to this next person, AJ Styles. The phenomenal one. That isn't his turn, was it? Yeah.
No,
that isn't it.
you gotta use the whole thing. The A plus.
Oh, I see what we're doing. Okay.
I'm trying to give letter grades with my hands. Now, AJ Styles started as an A plus. So we're talking about now. Are we talking about AJ Styles in his WWE run? Are we talking about totality or what?
No, I mean, we was on about doing it on their particular company. I was on about the WWE one.
Okay, in that case, AJ Styles comes in. I will say that AJ Styles comes in as an A on name recognition alone, because you have to think, especially at this point in time, because NXT isn't NXT at this point when AJ Styles makes his debut in the Royal Rumble.
I mean, it's still quite NXT. It's not NXT 2.0, but it's still black and gold.
But it wasn't the massive monstrosity that it became.
Yeah.
NXT hadn't hit its apex yet.
No, he hadn't hit the apex. They still had like the titles you got behind you.
Right. AJ Styles came in, skipped NXT, went straight to the main roster, and he came in on name recognition alone. Yep. And it's the announcer's job to tell you, this guy is really, 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 really freaking good. Mm-hmm. And they did. They told you exactly that this guy was really, 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 really freaking good. And then AJ goes, I think you guys left out about 100 really, 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 really.
Man,
because
they kept the hype going.
AJ Styles kept the hype going by himself.
Well, that too, yeah.
Because have you met AJ Styles? This is what he does. You talk about, the guy running the Performance Center and Shawn Michaels being arguably one of the greatest in-ring performers that's ever freaking lived.
AJ's after that.
AJ is probably right behind him, and you can easily say that AJ Styles is the greatest in-ring performer of this generation.
Yeah, I say this generation, Shawn Michaels, definitely.
And number two is probably Bryan Danielson, and the gap between number 1 and number 2 is the fucking Grand Canyon.
You'd have to put Punk up there as well somewhere in his heyday.
Absolutely.
He's very good.
Absolutely, but you're talking about Styles and Danielson, and then way down there.
Yeah, I'd put Dolph in there too somewhere.
Is whoever's number 3.
Yeah. Put Dolph in there too, man. Nobody sounds like that guy.
Good God. If there was a Hall of Fame just because of the way you sell for people, Dolph Ziggler is Bruno.
That's the lost art in AEW.
Say what?
That's a lost art in general, but especially in AEW.
Oh, God, yeah.
Anyway.
God, yeah. And Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, whatever you want to call him, he is a master. The dude could teach master classes on that. No, AJ Styles is interesting because you got to think, at this point in time in WWE, they're not mentioning other promotions like they're doing right now, talking about how Naomi was a former TNA Knockouts Division champion, and then a couple people later, this is the current TNA Knockouts Division champion who just beat Naomi a couple of weeks ago.
Apparently Naomi didn't even know.
No,
which is great.
And it was awesome. And you know what? Jordan Grace looked freaking amazing.
Oh, she's awesome.
Oh my God, she's great. But I mean, she had an amazing Rumble. So insanely happy for her.
Apparently she's natty.
And say what?
Apparently she's natty, and if she really is natty as well, then damn. Don't know what she does there.
Talking about like natural, like no roids.
Yeah, natty. I never realized that's why they said natty before until you said that. That's cool.
Yeah. She is. I mean, she does bodybuilding on the side.
Well, she's just bodybuilding on both sides, the back, the front, on her top, her neck, her muscles, the places that other places don't have places. The muscles aren't there.
Shout out to Corey Graves for breaking that old Jerry Lawler line out. She's got muscles in places you don't have places. I'm like, that is one of my favorite Jerry Lawler lines ever. And when Corey Graves pulled that one out, I'm like, man, that's just good shit right there.
I can give you my favorite one. I hate it when you go, but I love to watch you leave. We use that on so many of my lady friends.
Shit, I use that on Jen. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, great, man.
I use so many just cheesy ass lines on her, only because I know what. Number one, she's gonna blush, and then she's gonna respond with, "Oh my God, you're the worst."
Yeah.
And I thank you. Anyway, AJ Styles is interesting because they couldn't necessarily talk about him.
Yeah.
And talk about everything that he's accomplished. But they could just say, he's really good. You're in for a show watching him. And that's they could only hype him up by being vague.
Yeah. He could actually go through it.
And then AJ Styles comes up to the batter's box, tees up, and just crushes one that, let's be honest, is still flying. You know,
one thing that I'll say amazing that I always thought about AJ Styles as well is that it was Vince McMahon obviously fully in charge at the time, full Vince, regime still. And one thing we know about Vince, he's not a fan of small people, and he's especially not a fan though of people with southern twangs and all that, the southern accent. However that goes, I can't think now.
And also people that he didn't create.
Yeah. And the didn't create Little and the southern twang, which is I'm a bulldog.
And AJ Styles won the WWE Championship inside of 6 months.
Yeah, man. I mean, there you go.
And who did he beat for it?
Cena.
He beat Cena.
Roman Cena.
He beat Roman Cena. He didn't beat John Reigns. He beat Roman Cena.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be silly. That'd be too early, man. Yeah, he wasn't there yet.
But that tells you, the hype was more created on the internet because we all knew, oh my God, that's AJ Styles. AJ Styles can only be AJ Styles, and there's only one way to be AJ Styles. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did in WWE.
It's the one issue about doing a surprise appearance, isn't it? You don't get that hype as much, but you get the hype start up like after it. And with AJ, I suppose that's a great way to do it as well with AJ, because like you said, they can't talk about his stuff too much anyway. They could.
Right.
It's just Vince was crazy and doesn't want to acknowledge other companies.
And they were smart enough to put him in the ring with other great wrestlers that they know AJ could go full throttle with. I mean, like think about it. Reigns. His first WrestleMania match was against Jericho.
Yeah. Was it still been Jericho? Did they take that all the way to WrestleMania? Did they?
Yeah. Jericho and AJ were was AJ's first WrestleMania match.
Wow, I remember the whole like Y2 AJ and all that. It just that felt like it happened right after the Rumble. I didn't realize that they kept that going.
It did, and they kept it going, and they got it to Mania, and it was Jericho and AJ lost.
Back in the day of Vince McMahon, I bet Jericho had to fight to make that happen. Keep that going, keep the storyline.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. So we've had some stories of hype that's really, 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 really paid off. Are you ready for one that absolutely freaking did not?
Well, I got one after as well.
All right. This is going to take you back to WCW, but it's so bad, you as a wrestling fan should at least know about this one. Glacier.
I know Glacier, of course. one of the wrestlers who really should have gone and been an American Gladiator. He'd have been great in American Gladiators.
Oh God, yeah.
He'd been great. He's got the name. He looks like a gladiator. Not a load of skill for wrestling. It's
Right.
not for everybody.
All right. So you know how we were talking about letter grades.
Yeah.
If our buddy Brian, who is
Dog,
who is also his profession is he is a teacher. If Brian were grading this particular paper on Glacier, it would not say A, B, C, D, or F. It would say, see me after class.
And that's from the original BCC right there, the Brian Kriego class. The original BCC.
I like that. I like that. But yeah, oh my God, I remember watching that and seeing all the hype videos that WCW did, blood runs cold and all this stuff. And then he comes out and I remember, obviously, I was a teenager when this happened and I did not have a potty mouth like I do now because this was 30 years ago.
Yeah, the internet hadn't ruined kids then.
Right. Well, also working in restaurants in college hadn't ruined me either.
Yeah.
But if I were the potty mouth that I am now at 15 years old watching Glacier, this would have been my reaction. The fuck is this? No, seriously. The fuck is this?
That sounds about right. I mean, obviously I didn't see it, but I imagine my reaction would have been exactly like that too. Mortal Kombat.
WCW did a lot of really stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm. Kiss Demon.
Yeah, Kiss Demon. That 70s guy, Mike Awesome.
I'm still waiting for Sting to bring out, he's brought out Ric Flair and all these other people that he famously had feuds with or teamed with. When they're going to bring out one of his most awesome and legendary tag team partners, bring back RoboCop. That's what we want to see. Fucking RoboCop. We want Darby Allin, Sting, and RoboCop.
Katie, as someone that was a WCW fan, as someone that is a massive, unapologetic Sting mark, I had scrubbed the image of RoboCop on a WCW pay-per-view from my brain. Thank you for once again putting that crap back in there, you British son of a bitch.
Man, you can't hide from the truth forever. The truth shall not set you free this time, but that's the faith there.
I would like to point out that Sting has had two legendary, and by legendary I mean legendarily terrible running buddies in his career. One being the aforementioned RoboCop,
and Kurt Angle. And Kurt Angle, terrible wrestler.
Yeah, Kurt Angle was a terrible wrestler.
Terrible.
Ass. Yeah. Wow. No, the other one being the Shockmaster.
Oh God, the tag part. Oh yeah, he was there, wasn't he, at the time? Of course.
He was on Sting's team in War Games.
Yeah, old school Sting.
Yep. I have one more.
Okay.
And we talked about AJ Styles being an A+. We've talked about Jade Cargill being a C in one place and an A+ in another. We've talked about some really crappy ones. This one, a lot of hype, failed miserably, and then massively improved.
Can I take a guess what it is? And I've got a perfect ender as well.
And it is WWF. WWF, WWE, it is.
Okay, so now you said WWF, it makes me think I'm not right anymore, but I was going to say it anyway. Drew McIntyre.
No.
Same kind of thing. But...
Yeah, much earlier. Mid to late 90s was the debut.
I don't know. I was
Well, actually, late
pissing my
90s.
pants still.
Yeah, mid to late 90s was the debut.
I don't know.
Rocky Maivia.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of hype only from what I've been gathered
There
from
was
videos.
so much hype behind Rocky Maivia. He made his debut at Survivor Series as in the Garden, and as he's coming to the ring, Jim Ross says, and I quote, "That's going to be a blue chipper right there. That kid's going to be a blue chipper right there."
The bouncing English have had confirmed it for us all.
And Rocky Maivia was the absolute shit. It was so cheesy and so ham-fisted and absolutely dreadful. And somehow, this guy who is cutting the most generic white meat babyface promos I have ever heard, and trust me, I've heard a lot of them. Somehow, this guy with the chia pet on his head for hair becomes not, in modern time, is one of the most famous people on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Probably the most famous bald man in the world.
Talk about failing miserably and righting the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So Rocky Maivia, F. Rock the Dwayne Johnson, A.
Yeah. Let's agree with this.
Yeah, let me ask you this. In terms of initial debuts, because there's two people that debuted, shit their pants, and managed to salvage it.
Yeah.
Who was it? Who took a bigger dump in their pants initially? Rocky Maivia or John Cena?
That's true. I mean, I'd still say Drew McIntyre more so because he got fired, but John Cena too. He almost got fired.
Honestly,
and he became huge. Obviously, he's much bigger than Drew. So,
I honestly and truly, I would say both of them were big. Both of them were more colossal failures than Drew, because yeah, Drew was billed as the chosen one. At least Drew had a decent run as the Intercontinental champion. Rocky Maiavia's Intercontinental title run was absolute shit.
I mean, I don't think Drew was much better either. He had it. That was about it.
He had better matches than Rocky did.
I can't say about the Rocky matches, but I just remember. Well, I don't remember the Drew matches, and I think that was on purpose at the time.
He had a really good feud with Matt Hardy.
I mean, the best feud with Matt Hardy is still just a feud with Matt Hardy, though. In the nicest way. I love the Hardy Boys. They were awesome back in the day, but I'd still believe in that statement.
You're not wrong. So who would you say in their initial phase was a more colossal failure?
Out of the two. What, John Cena and
Rocky Maivia?
Probably. I mean, obviously, once again, I wasn't there for Rocky, so for me, I'd say John Cena. But I don't know if Rocky ever got closer to really getting fired.
No, Rocky. He didn't get close to getting fired. He got injured.
Yeah.
And when he came back as he came back and joined the Nation of Domination, and then shortly after that became The Rock.
Getting injured was the best thing that happened to him in that case. Then
absolutely. I would say, even before you said anything, the more colossal failure was John Cena, because John Cena almost got fired.
Yeah, straight up.
And I think they've both done all right for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say so. Maybe.
I think they've won some championships, and they've made some money, and they've been in a couple of movies here and there.
Yeah, earned a few bob. Definitely earned a few bob.
Yeah.
I think they can retire, with just a little bit more than a state pension. That's for sure.
Yeah. Very, very true. No
But then,
social security. No social security for these guys.
no, they are very, very tough people. But I've got a last person here that is probably not as tough as many people think, or
Oh,
probably
please.
exactly as tough as many people think.
I hope. Please, Lord, let us be ending this on a funny note.
No, of course not. Um, I don't know. I don't know whether it's funny. I mean, it depends how you feel about it. It's controversial because I would say across AEW and WWE. Maybe it's not controversial. I don't know. CM Punk, CM Punk, the hype, unbelievable hype in AEW, WWE, both of them. Every time, I would say I enjoyed CM Punk in AEW and I enjoyed him in WWE, but I don't think you can argue that it's constantly been derailed and never got to go as it was supposed to because dude just gets injured all the time. Three big injuries in 3 years. Every time he's had a good storyline and built to something, injury. And or either that or he's having a fight, having a ruckus.
Right. See, I have a very hard time doing this one because I keep wanting to look at CM Punk's career in its totality post
That's
Ring
not
of
the
Honor.
game.
So starting in WWECW, and going from there. I don't think there was a lot of hype behind him. Paul Heyman wanted to hype the ever loving shit out of him, but Vince and
Yeah,
no,
back then. Yeah,
huh? Say what?
back then. Yeah, back
Yeah,
then there was no hype.
yeah. I mean, he had
Yeah.
very little because there's literally only one person in the entire company that actually believed in it, and it was Heyman. God damn if he didn't turn out to be right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in
Heyman,
a sense, yeah.
Heyman had faith in two different guys that nobody else was really sure about. Their their last names were Punk and Lesnar.
People were sure about Lesnar. Let's be honest. How could you look at Lesnar and not be sure? That big beefy man
But,
meat.
but would the look translate into in ring? Because initially Lesnar was being looked at as an amateur wrestler, not just the physical freak of nature that he became.
Yeah.
They were looking at Lesnar as a buffed up Kurt Angle.
He's someone whose hype you can never argue with. Brock Lesnar.
God, not even close.
No.
Brock Lesnar nor Kurt Angle, their hype needs to even be discussed on this list.
I never thought about Angle, but that's true as well, actually, yeah.
Angle was hyped to the freaking gills. And
beforehand, more actually. More than Lesnar, because he had like vignettes and stuff too.
And he was literally the very first Olympic gold medalist in professional wrestling history. There was a ton. Look, if there was ever any, he was probably in his debut the most hyped wrestler of all time, even to this day. And Angle's in the conversation for greatest in-ring performer that ever lived.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely probably the most hyped wrestler ever. His name wasn't CM Punk, I would agree.
I would say Angle was more hyped, had more hype about him than CM Punk did.
When he first appeared, not so much, only because we couldn't know how awesome Kurt Angle would go on to be. We couldn't know that at the time. Maybe when he did something else. Maybe when he went to TNA, he had a load of hype behind him then. Arguably then.
No,
look at it from that point.
He still lived up to it.
Well, he lived up to all the hype. He lived up to more hype than he was ever expected.
Yeah, but you're right in the fact that he, in both of his, his company debuts, there was ridiculous, almost comically ridiculous levels of hype. And Kurt Angle outkicked his coverage without even trying.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you go back and look at Kurt Angle in TNA. That's the best Kurt Angle ever looked.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the highest Kurt Angle ever was as well.
Yeah, literally, you're not wrong. If you ever want, look, and if you've never seen Kurt Angle in TNA, just YouTube Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe and thank me later.
Or type in Perk Angle.
Yeah, that too. Perk Angle, yeah, because he was so pilled up it wasn't even funny. But my God, Perk Angle was just
A beast. He was a beast. That was prime Kurt Angle though. He was a machine.
My God, that might be, from like an in-ring performance perspective, that might be the greatest run of all time.
Mm-hmm. Like, Kurt Angle should be the spokesman for drugs. Just that simple. That run.
Hey,
100%.
don't do drugs. But look at all this shit that I did while I was hiring Snoop Dogg.
Don't do drugs unless it's the drugs that Kurt Angle did while on the TNA run. I mean, to be fair, the only reason he won the gold medals was because of drugs as well. He had a broken neck and he had to like get the shots to numb it.
Yeah, this is true.
He owed all his success to drugs.
Yeah, this is true. But yeah, I mean, holy shit. But yeah, dude, Angle's one of those guys. Yes, plenty of hype behind him, but we don't even need to have this discussion. Angle is, we have these GOAT discussions on this show.
I was thinking about that then.
Well, we have these GOAT discussions on this show, but there are certain people that we will never have GOAT discussions on because why?
Yeah.
We already know the answer is yes. That's why we will never discuss Shawn Michaels or we will never discuss Kurt Angle. We did discuss AJ Styles, but we discussed AJ Styles in terms of, because this was like the beginning of his WWE run.
Yeah, I'd argue that's a fair one to talk about anyway.
But I mean, yeah, we'll never discuss, we did one on Rey Mysterio Jr., but it wasn't because does he deserve to be amongst the greatest, of all time? It was, is he the greatest masked man of all time? Not one of, is he the underline. Excuse me.
And then he was ousted by Mr. America. I remember that episode. I was up for that. I was happy with the outcome. I agreed with you. You were right, Mr. America all the way.
Yeah. Anyway, anybody else on your list? Because I'm out.
CM Punk, AEW and WWE. I would still argue that. Obviously, CM Punk in general. Oh, actually, the last one I did say, I didn't have. Sorry. It's not really, doesn't need to be spent because it's a debate all the time anyway that we always had endlessly for wrestling fans now. Young Bucks in AEW for me didn't live up to all this hype I'd heard about them because I'd heard how they're the best tag team ever and all this, because I never watched any of like Ring of Honor stuff and I'd never seen much of any of them. So when I finally saw them in AEW, I was expecting amazing things and I just didn't really see that and any of their promos or anything. Yeah.
Damn.
I'm out of beer
for this. I'm out of beer. And there is not enough alcohol in the world to get me to say good things about the Young Bucks.
Hey, cool. I couldn't remember your stance.
Never been a fan. Thought they were nothing but internet buzz. They botched more shit than Rob Van Dam ever dreamed of doing during his ECW run. And Van Dam botched a lot of shit.
I mean, they've got some good tag team moves just because, Nick is good. I like Nick. But then Matt has to talk. He says something. and then it all goes away, or he does something, or either of them, like make a face or show us a little bit of their personality. I'm like, oh, okay, no, I'm not down for this.
I can list 20 tag teams that are current today that I would rather watch than the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
20. They just don't do it for me. There are a lot of people, including people that have been on this show before, like RJ, that love them. And God bless you for it. But to quote a fictional character from KD's homeland, Austin Powers, it's not my bag, baby.
Yeah, baby.
It's not my bag,
and do the bad thing.
Yeah, let's hop on the good foot and do the bad thing. That's a great line. That is a great line. Come on, love. Let's hop on the good foot and do the bad thing.
Hop on the good foot and do the bad thing. Wow.
Yeah.
But that's what the Young Bucks do to us. They make us just try and think of anything other than the Young Bucks.
Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day.
Yeah, just like how everybody has that thing they think of. Every guy has that thing they think of when they need to like give themselves an extra couple of minutes or need to calm down, before they stand up, for example. Chairs for me. Like chair. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
1996 World Series.
Huh?
Katie's over here getting some pussy.
Yeah, I got pussy on my mouth right now.
Reason number 4. I'm glad Brian's not here tonight because Brian would have been like, "Oh, good God," about that comment.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say he doesn't like cats.
Oh no, well, I think he might be allergic.
But
on
him. Well done.
Me making that comment.
Go on, you go.
Oh, Katie is clearly a cat person. Katie's also a dog person.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm a dog person. Well, I'm just an animal person. I like that. Animals seem to like me as well.
Same. Quick little funny story, and then we'll get out of here. So, my daughter's mother and I have been divorced for many years. 8. We divorced when kiddo was probably about maybe 1.5. Anyway, a couple years ago they got a dog. The dog's name is Maggie. She's a Cocker Spaniel. No. She's a
King Charles Spaniel.
No, she's maybe a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, I think.
Okay, no, I don't know what that is.
Anyway, every time I would go to pick the kiddo up, either her mom or my kids' grandparents would try to get Maggie, riled up to like be mean to me, sick him, Maggie, get him, Maggie, all that shit. Fast forward all these years later, I go to pick my kid up or drop her off back at her mom's house. Maggie barks like crazy and then realizes all of a sudden, oh wait, it's him. And then all she wants to do is jump up and just start licking my face.
Yeah. She knows you.
Like, you can always tell whether someone's worth it or not by the way the dog or the cat react to that person.
Yeah, they can tell, man.
They are truly the best judges of character ever. Point in case, my cat Molly is an absolute bitch. She is the grumpiest, most cantankerous fat turd I have ever met. And I know some grumpy, fat, cantankerous turds in human form. I won't say anything else.
No.
If you know, you know.
Everyone's got a cantankerous of their own.
Yes.
So whatever you're thinking out there, it's that. Whatever that is for you, it's that.
But if you know me, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway. So
winking at the camera shit.
So the first time that Jen comes over, Jen meets Molly. Molly doesn't like anybody unless you're feeding her. What does Molly
I
do?
forgot Molly was a person, wasn't a person then. Shit.
No, Molly is the cat.
Okay.
Um,
I'm not good with names.
What's the first thing that Molly does? Jumps up on Jen's lap. Molly is not a lap cat. Not even. Molly is as much of a lap cat as I am not bald or not balding.
Yeah.
But yeah, went right to Jen and just, curled up in a ball in Jen's lap and just starts purring. And for the record, Molly is named Molly because I got Molly as a kitten long before my daughter was born. So, baby mama and I both had two cats, Molly and Jenny, because the kiddo's mom is a massive Harry Potter fan, and we named him after two members of the Weasley family.
That also happened to be her name.
Huh?
It also happened to be the same name as her.
Who?
Jenny. Jen. Can you say one with Jenny or Ginny? Is it?
Oh yeah, Jenny. Ginny.
Yeah, I realised.
Yeah. No, not to be confused with Jen or Jennifer, my lady friend. Not one of the same. Jenny the cat unfortunately passed a year and a half ago, which that sucked. But anyway, moving right along. But yeah, you can always tell whether or not a human being is worth the crap or not, depending on how the animal in the house reacts to them.
But at the same time, though, not always with dogs. More so with cats, I would say that's true.
Oh, absolutely.
Cats are a bit more grumpy, aren't they? But dogs sometimes, they're too nice.
You get a dumb dog. You get a dumb dog that's just lovable. The dumb dog would go want to be petted and get belly rubs from a guy that's trying to rob your house.
Yeah. Be loyal to like their owner, even though their owner's a dick to them, for example. Yeah. Dogs are dumb.
I've seen plenty of dumb dogs in my life. I've owned a couple of dumb dogs in my life.
I was a dumb dog at one point in my life.
So what?
I was a dumb dog at one point in my life.
I
think every man was.
I
think every man was at some point in their life.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get out of here and wrap this one up. Before we get out of here, Katie, any final thoughts?
Jay Cargill was awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing her do more. Royal Rumble was good. I don't know where they're going to go with the storyline. And it'll be funny because just realizing now, most weeks, neither of the WrestleMania main event participants will be there. There'll be so many weeks when you're not going to have Roman or Rock there. No, none of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. My final thought, please, wrestling gods, please give us Jade Cargill versus Bianca at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be fantastic.
Do some good stuff.
So we'll be back next week. Don't know how many of us will be here or what we'll be talking about yet. We ain't figured that crap out yet, but we will be here next week. We hope you guys will be too. Thank you guys so much for watching us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Listen to us on any of the podcast affiliates. However you're taking in this product, again, thank you. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share, follow. Click the bell for notifications on YouTube. Leave comments. If you're on a podcasting platform, please make sure you subscribe. Give us a 5-star review. It definitely helps with the algorithms and all that good shit.
If you want to hear us all more of my stuff, then come over to KD Comments Podcast, where the podcast from, all over on YouTube for that.
I was literally about to plug you without you having to do it.
But myself, right here, then many people got to put there. It's like making tea in England, but everybody prefers their own tea.
I know this, but I want you to feel like you don't have to get your own shit in. You know, this is a team collaborative effort. So yeah, if you want some more of the funny stuff, go over to KD Comedy Inc. on YouTube and all of and you know follow him everywhere else.
You got it wrong. You got it wrong. There's no ink anymore. We removed the tattoos.
Oh, it's KD it's just KDComedy.com.
Just KD Comedy. It doesn't matter anyway. I mean, I'm sure. Do it.
Yeah.
Whoop that trick.
Whoop that trick. Damn right. So yeah, follow him on YouTube for all the funny shit. We will see you guys next week. Until then, that's KD. Brian's somewhere. I'm Patrick. This has been Wrestling with Egos. There seriously ain't enough beer and tequila in the world to get me through rock and rollman mania. And that's not really what I love about wrestling, but conversations like, you know, the hype train and all that stuff. Yeah, I'll take that. We'll see you next week.
Wob that boo.
Wob
that boo. Wob that boo. Wob that boo. That's a new one.